Means that do it. Burger
Welcome back to the second hour of Airchecks. Maggs stated in the series script book that he felt bound by his promise to Douglas Adams to allow the scripts of the Tertiary Phase to closely follow the plot of the third book. I myself was willing to give the Tertiary Phase 7 out of 10 on the grounds that I was a little too reverential to the text and the pace suffered as a result. But in adapting the final two novels, the only instructions Maggs got from Adams was they don't need more than 4 episodes each. Thus Maggs was able to use many of the major plot elements of the final 2 books, though not necessarily in the same order, and attempt to reconnect plot threads from all 5 radio series. The new episodes reunited most of the living original cast. The parts of the book, Eddie the Computer and Slarty Bartfast, were recast to replace actors who had died, with William Franklin, Roger Gregg and Richard Griffiths taking over these 3 roles, respectively. Peter Jones, the original narrator, had died in 2000, Richard Vernon, the original Slarty Bartfast, had died in 1997, and David Tate, who had voiced Eddie the Computer, among many other roles, had died in 1996. Bill Wallace, who played Mr. Prosser and Prostetnik Vaughan Jeltz in the original series, was unavailable, and Toby Longworth took the role of Jeltz in the new series. John Marsh, who had been the continuity announcer for Fitz the 2nd to 12th, was rehired to reprise this role. There was also a posthumous cameo role by Adams as a Grejag, edited from his BBC audiobook recording of the novel. From The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, here is Fit the 15th.
The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by Douglas Adams. Tertiary Phase.
The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy claims that the campaign for real time was inspired not only by an instinct to preserve the traditions of linear chronology, but because there was once a poet. His name was Lalifer, and he wrote what are widely regarded throughout the galaxy as being the finest poems in existence, the Songs of the Long Land. Lalifer had lived in the forests of the long lands of Effa, and he wrote his poems on pages made of dried habra leaves, without the benefit of education, or correcting fluid. Long after his death, his poems were found and wandered over. News of them spread like morning sunlight. For centuries, they illuminated and watered the lives of many people whose existence might otherwise have been darker and drier. Then, shortly after the invention of time travel, some major correcting fluid manufacturers from the Mancunian Nebula were chatting at a sixth-dimensional sales conference.
Here, I may not know much about poetry, but I know what I like. I say, I may not know much about...
We heard the first time.
Oh, yeah. Well, I was just thinking about that Lalifer. You know, poetry bloke.
What he could have done with some high-quality correcting fluid in a variety of leafy shades.
Exactly what I were thinking. And I'm wondering if we could persuade him, to say a few words to that effect, eh?
Could open up the Andromeda market,
So they travelled the time waves, found him, and did indeed persuade him. In fact, they persuaded him to such an effect that he became extremely rich, and frequently commuted to the future to do chat shows, on which he sparkled wittily. Thus he never got around to writing the poems. This was a problem. but one easily solved. Each week, the correcting fluid manufacturers simply packed him off somewhere different.
Right, there you go, lad. Copy of your book, stack of dried abra leaves to copy it onto. Just make the odd mistake, then correct it in the usual way. Here's your emolument. Carry on like that, son. There's plenty more where that came from, eh?
And he did. Many people now claim, though, that the poems became suddenly worthless. Other people argue that they are exactly the same as they always were, so what's changed? This prompted the first people to set up the campaign for real time to try and stop this sort of thing going on. One of its principal activists, the Magathian planet designer Slarty Bartfast, is currently using the Room of Informational Illusions aboard the starship Beastramath to give Arthur Dent and Ford Prefect an important and very realistic history lesson.
These, then, were the Cricket Wars, the greatest devastation ever visited upon our galaxy.
Oh, dear. Don't look so apprehensive, Earthman. It's just a documentary.
I know, but it seems so real.
Well, it was, when it happened.
And let us not forget, and in just a moment I'll be able to suggest a way which will help us always to remember, that before the Cricket Wars...
This is not a good bit. Do not agree to buy anything at this point. Terribly sorry. I can't seem to find the remote control.
The symbol known as the Wicket Gate. The three pillars.
I'm sure I've seen that before.
What?
That arrangement of sticks on the asteroid. It looks stupefyingly familiar.
The asteroid is the lock. The Wicket Gate is the key.
I like those girls floating around it. A bit like angels.
Apart from the clothes, angels usually wear them.
Where is this?
There is not a world in the galaxy where this symbol is not revered to this day. Even in primitive worlds, it persists in racial memories.
3 stumps, 2 bales. Well, that's a wicket.
That's right, the Wicket Gate.
This it is that now locks away their world to the end of eternity.
Cricket? Wicket? Extraordinary.
This is not the real key, of course. That, as we all know, was destroyed and lost forever. This, my friends, is a replica, hand-tooled by skilled craftsmen into a memento you will be proud to own, in memory of those who fell.
Found it! There.
Now, let us all bow our heads in payment.
Just don't nod.
I promise to prove.
You getting the gist?
I hope that's what it is.
Let me spool back a few billion years. Yes, nearly there. Stand by for the informational illusion.
This is more like it. Soft grass, nice evening breeze. Is this Earth?
It does look a bit home counties, but very cold.
Seems warm enough to me.
Very unwelcoming. It looks appealing, but feels impersonal.
Like a good-looking woman writing you a parking ticket. But this cricket angle...
We'll walk down to that village and I'll tell you about it. The game you know as cricket is just one of those curious freaks of racial memory. Of all the races in the galaxy, only the English could possibly revive the memory of the most horrific wars ever to sunder the universe and transform it into what I'm afraid is generally regarded as an incomprehensibly dull and pointless game.
Ah, no, fair play.
Rather fond of cricket myself, as it happens, but in most people's eyes, you have been inadvertently guilty of the most grotesque bad taste, particularly the bit about the little red ball hitting the wicket. Very nasty.
Oh.
These cricket men are the ones who started it all, and it will all start tonight.
Oh, is something dreadful about to happen? The battle cruisers with the white robots aren't about to arrive overhead, are they? Oh. My God.
Nothing is about to attack you here. This is where it all started. The place itself. Cricket. As it was 10 billion years ago.
There aren't any stars.
Shh. Listen and watch.
And everything's so nice.
The masters of cricket.
And everyone's so happy beneath the ink black sky.
Yes. Well, they seem nice enough. Not that I trust appearances anymore.
I'm under her spell. I can't resist. We walked hand in hand above the grass. Then in the dark we kissed.
What a strange song. They're beneath the ink-black skies, hand in hand above the grass. Not under the moon or beneath the stars, as you might expect. I suppose because it's so black overhead.
Arthur?
Yes?
Why are you tiptoeing?
Was I?
Yes, we're still on the Starship Bistro, Math. This is a recorded informational illusion. You could walk past those people blowing a euphonium for all the notice they'll take.
I'll bear that in mind.
You know, of course, what's about to happen.
Me? No.
Did you not learn ancient galactic history at school?
I was in the cyber cubicle behind Zaphod Beeblebrox. It was always the same three hands going up. His.
You know, I get the distinct feeling of being alone in the universe.
Not so the people of Cricket. Their solar system, their single sun with its single world, was, as you see, surrounded by a huge dust cloud. So there was never anything to see in the sky except their sun. The reason they never thought we are alone in the universe is that until this night, they don't know about the universe. Until this night.
And everything's so nice.
Hear that, brothers? What a strange and disagreeable sound. Surely it is not the wind in the trees.
It is not of the earth or the air. I mislike it greatly, but cannot fathom its origin.
Friends, this cannot be, for it is not possible. The sound we hear comes from above.
Behold! A fiery streak in the void!
Wow! Can't they see it's a spaceship? Or the wreckage of one, coming out of the blackness?
Why would they look? They have no idea anything could exist up there. Until tonight.
Brothers, we must go see what manner of visitation is upon us. Lead on. I will sing of what we find.
I too will follow.
Some speak of the starship Heart of Gold, some of the starship Bistromath, and some in hushed tones of the starship Titanic. But whilst these and other great spaceships which come to mind, such as the Galactic Fleet battleships, the GSS Daring, the GSS Audacity, and the GSS Suicidal Insanity, are all regarded with awe, pride, enthusiasm, affection, regret, jealousy, resentment, in fact, most of the better-known emotions. The craft which regularly commands the most actual astonishment was Cricket 1, the first spaceship ever built by the people of Cricket. This is not because it was a wonderful ship. It was not. It was a crazy piece of near junk, and looked for all the galaxy as if it had been knocked up in somebody's backyard, which was, in fact, precisely where it had been knocked up. The most astonishing thing about the ship was not that it was done well, it wasn't, see above, but that it was done at all, as the period of time which elapsed between the moment that the people of Cricket discovered that there was such a thing as space and the launching of their first spaceship was, as near as damn it is to dom it, almost exactly a year.
Stand by, brothers number 2 and number 3. Standing by, brother number 1.
Standing by, brother number 1.
Push blue switch.
Push the blue switch.
And this is going to fly, is it?
Brother number 3.
Just strap yourself in.
Can't we fast forward through this spaceship bit?
Certainly not. Watch and learn. This is the pivotal event.
The wiring isn't even insulated.
I've heard of low tech, but these controls are bathroom fittings.
Are perfectly safe. It's an informational illusion, which you will find extremely instructive and not a little harrowing.
These singer-songwriting people stripped down the wreckage of that crashed ship and within a year built this?
Just relax and be harrowed.
I can do that.
Second thoughts. You'd better hold on.
Lift off.
All systems optimal.
No way does anyone design and build a ship like this in a year. No matter how motivated, prove it to me and I still won't believe it.
Yes, well, the Masters of Cricket did. Their historic mission was to find out if there was anything or anywhere beyond the blackness from which the wrecked spaceship could have come. Actually, I think I will fast forward a bit. That's the Cricket men flying to the edge of their solar system, the inner perimeter of the hollow dust cloud which surrounds their sun and home planet. Now watch. They're on the brink of breaking through it. History is gathering itself. 3, 2, 1. Behold the universe, the staggering jewels of the night in their infinite dust. Imagine the impact of this vision on a species whose entire philosophy demands that they are the only sentient creatures in creation.
Insanity?
Bitter but rational disappointment?
No.
So how did they react on the first sight of the universe?
Very simply.
It'll have to go.
Although it's been said that on Earth alone in our galaxy has cricket been treated as fit subject for a game, and that for this reason the Earth has been shunned, this does only apply to our galaxy, and more specifically to our dimension. In some of the higher dimensions, they feel they can more or less please themselves, and have been playing a peculiar game called Brockian Ultra Cricket for their trans-dimensional equivalent of billions of years. A full set of rules is so massively complicated that the only time they were all bound together in a single volume, they underwent gravitational collapse and became a black hole. All that is known of the game can be found in the archives of the BUCC.
Rule 1. Grow at least 3 extra legs. You won't need them, but my Darrow thing, it does help to keep the crowds amused.
And now it's Perkins galloping out to extremely silly square leg.
Rule 2. Find one good Brockian Ultra Cricket player, clone him 10 few times. This saves an enormous amount of tedious selection and training. 3. Put your team and the opposing team in a large field and build a high wall round them. The reason for this is that a crowd that has just watched a rather humdrum game experiences far less life affirmation than a crowd that believes it has just missed the most dramatic event in sporting history. 4. Throw assorted items of sporting equipment over the wall for the players. Anything will do. Cricket bats, base cube bats, tennis guns, skis, anything you can get a good swing with. Rule 5. The players should now lay about themselves for all they are worth, with whatever they find to hand. Whenever a player scores a hit on another player, he should immediately run away and apologize from a safe distance, usually through a megaphone.
Sorry.
Rule 6. The winning team shall be the first team that wins.
Curiously enough, the more popular the game grows in the higher dimensions, the less it's actually played, since most of the competing teams are now in a state of permanent warfare over the interpretation of those rules. This is all for the best because in the long run, a good solid war is always less psychologically damaging than a protracted game of Brockian Ultra Cricket. However, for Zaphod Beeblebrox, a badly mixed pan-galactic gargle blaster has a similarly deleterious effect.
Where did I go wrong? Jank Spirit, Santraginian Seawater, Arcturan Mega Gin, Marsh Gas, Hypermane Extract, Tooth of Sun Tiger. Maybe it's the olive.
It is my pleasure to open for you.
Zarkov.
And my satisfaction
Zarkov.
to close again with the knowledge of a job well done.
Door. Did you hear that?
Do you wish me to open for you again? It would be my...
No, shut up. Trillium has jumped ship. I'm alone on the Heart of Gold. I've put an electronic gag across that Zarkin computer's speech terminals. All non-essential systems are closed down and we're drifting in a remote area of the galaxy. So which particular 100,000 people would turn up at this point and say a totally unexpected whop? I'm not imagining this. Computer?
Partner!
Is there someone on this ship?
Yeah.
Are they heading for the bridge?
Yeah.
Who is it?
Well, a whole day of visible mark and when it records, well, it's 100% control. But I'm definitely a bridge.
Sarquan! The speech terminals are on the bridge. Computer, when I ungag you, remind me to punch myself in the mouth. Either mouth. Look, 1 for yes, 2 for no. Is it dangerous? It is? You didn't just go twice. Huh. I guess the trick would be to reach the bridge before whoever it is does. Wait here. You know what I mean. He who gets to the bridge first controls the ship, baby. Here we are. Zark, they came through the other bridge door.
Have a nice day.
Holy photons! I didn't hack the door circuits. Door, if you can hear me, say so very, very quietly.
I can hear you.
Good. Now, in a moment, I'm going to ask you to open. When you open, I do not want you to say that you enjoyed it, okay?
Okay.
Neither do I want to hear that I have made a simple door very happy, or that it is your pleasure to open for me and your satisfaction to close again with the knowledge of a job well done, okay?
Okay.
And I have no plans to have a nice day. Understand?
Understood.
Okay. Open.
Is that the way you like it, Mr. Beeblebrox?
Intruder.
No.
Engage weapons.
Hi, guy. Oh, 11 of you. Good. Tunneling into the improbability drive compartment. Tough room.
Intruder. Kill on sight.
Okay, dude. I want you to imagine that I have an extremely powerful Kilozap blaster pistol in my hand.
You do have a Kilozap blaster pistol in your hand.
You never know what you're going to grab up a wall bracket in a hurry. So what are you cats doing here? Okay, robots. So what are you robots doing here?
We have come for the gold bale.
Huh?
The gold bale is part of the key we seek to release our masters from cricket.
You know, Metalhead, if I'd paid more attention to my history lessons and less to having sex with the girl in the next cyber cubicle, I'd know what you're on about.
The cricket wars, the slow time lock, its key was disintegrated. The golden bale is embedded in the device which drives your ship. It will be reconstituted in the key. Our masters shall be released. The universal readjustment will continue. We already have the wooden pillar, the steel pillar, and the perspex pillar. Now we will have the gold bale.
No, you won't. It's driving my ship.
Now we will have the gold bale, and then we must go to a party.
Hey, forget the bale. Let's party.
No, we are going to shoot you.
You're kidding. Ow. Okay, you're not kidding.
What am I supposed to do with this piece of chicken?
Toy with it, like this. You'll feel a tingle as it moves four-dimensionally through five-dimensional space.
Oh, yes. Oh, I see.
So, overnight, the whole population of cricket was transformed from being charming, delightful, intelligent,
if whimsical,
ordinary people, into charming, delightful, intelligent,
whimsical,
manic xenophobes. The idea of a universe didn't fit into their world picture, so to speak. They simply couldn't cope with it, and so, charmingly, delightfully, intelligently, whimsically, if you like, they decided to destroy it. What's the matter now?
I don't like the wine very much.
Well, send it back, or you'll upset the mathematics.
Waiter?
On second thoughts, let's argue over the bill with him, then we can go back to the room of informational illusions for the second half.
There's more?
Well, naturally. There's the cricket war crimes trial.
All rise for sentencing by the chairman of the boards of judges at the cricket war crimes trial, His High Judgmental Supremacy, Judiciary Peg LIVR.
LIVR?
Learned, impartial, and very relaxed.
Be seated, relax. Right. The people of cricket. Stick this under your chair for later.
Yes, my lad.
Right. The people of cricket are, well, they're a bunch of real sweet guys, you know, just happen to want to kill everybody. Hell, I feel that way most mornings, yeah. What?
The attack on the galaxy by the population of cricket was stunning. Thousands upon thousands of huge cricket warships leapt out of hyperspace and simultaneously attacked thousands upon thousands of major worlds, calmly zapping them out of existence. With unimaginable speed, the people of Cricket had grasped the hyper-technology needed to build their fleet and dispatch millions of lethal white robots wielding formidable battle clubs, which launched a hideous arsenal of grenades ranging from minor incendiaries to maxi-slaughter hypernuclear devices, which could take out a major sun. With one strike of the battle clubs, the grenades were simultaneously primed and launched with devastating accuracy, from mere yards to hundreds of thousands of miles.
So we won. That's no big deal. A medium-sized galaxy against one little world. How long did it take us, kiddo, huh?
It is a trifle difficult to be precise in this matter. Time and distance...
Hey, relax, guy. Don't be vague.
It pains me to be vague over such...
Bite the bullet, right, and be it.
Very approximately 2,000 years.
And how many guys zilched out?
2 grillion, my lad.
2 grillion? That's a whole lot of stiffs. Now, my real name is Enzypo Bibrog 5 times 10 to the 8th.
How does he spell that?
Big 10, little 8.
Oh! What is in this water?
Nothing, my lad.
Well, take it away and put something in it. Okay, hear me. You behind the zap-proof crystal, representatives of Cricket, listen up. You're a really sweet bunch of guys, but we wouldn't want to share a galaxy with you, Not if you can't learn to relax a little. Peaceful coexistence with you is a total no-show. On the other hand, these guys, are entitled to their own view as it's shaped by the universe. And, according to their view, they were doing the right thing. They believe in peace, justice, morality, culture, sport, family life, and the obliteration of all other life forms. Well, they're entitled to a view, right? Now, sentencing is going to be tricky, but people, I got an idea. Now, stop me if you've heard it before.
Judiciary Pag's idea was new, popular, and surprisingly well thought out, thus casting severe doubts as to its authorship. The planet of Cricket was sentenced to be enclosed for perpetuity in an envelope of slow time, inside which life would continue almost infinitely slowly. All light would be deflected around the envelope, rendering it both invisible and impenetrable. Escape from the envelope would of course be utterly impossible unless it were unlocked from the outside. Then, when the rest of the whole of creation reached its dying fall, and life and matter ceased to exist, the planet of Cricket and its sun would emerge to continue the solitary existence it craved in the twilight of the universal void. The lock was to be on an asteroid slowly orbiting the envelope. The key would be the symbol of the galaxy, the Wicket Gate. By the time the applause in the court had died down, Judiciary Pag was already in the censor shower with a rather nice member of the jury that he'd slipped a note to half an hour earlier.
What? Right.
You are confusing me, sir.
Nobody had the cannelloni.
It's very nice.
Dingo's kidneys.
Dingo's kidneys, yes, sir. I will ask the chef.
It's an expression. Leave it alone.
Nothing is lost forever, except for the Cathedral of Chalism.
The what?
The Cathedral of Chalism. It was during the course of my researches at the Campaign for Real Time that I...
For goodness sake, the waiter wants to argue about who had the cannelloni.
Is he surly or obsequious?
Both.
Excellent. Then the bistromatics have successfully maneuvered the ship out of subjective space and into a parking orbit. Come, we have a party to visit.
Now you're talking.
Just a minute. What's this Campaign for Real Time you were talking about?
Hi, can I clear off your table, sir? It's time to switch off the bistro.
One moment, please. Listen, the time streams have become very polluted. Muck floating about in them, flotsam and jetsam, and more of it is now being regurgitated into the physical world. Eddies in the space-time continuum, you see.
Still?
Now, about this party?
We are going to try to prevent the war robots of Cricket from regaining the whole of the key they need to unlock the planet of Cricket from the slow time envelope and release the rest of their army and their mad masters.
You mentioned a party?
Sadly, I did. The idea seems to exercise a strange and unhealthy fascination on your mind. The more I unravel the dark and tragic story of cricket, the more you want to drink a lot and dance with girls. You've attached yourself to it the way an Arcturian megaleech attaches itself to its victim before biting his head off and making off with his spaceship.
So, when do we get there?
When I've finished telling you why we have to go there.
I know why I'm going.
I had hoped for an easy retirement. I was planning to learn to play the octavental hebephone, a pleasantly futile task because I have the wrong number of mouths. I'd also been planning to write an eccentric and relentlessly inaccurate monograph on the subject of equatorial fjords in order to set the record wrong about one or two matters I see as important.
Well, why don't you then?
Well, I somehow got talked into doing some part-time work for the Campaign for Real Time and started to take it all seriously.
Go on.
At the Campaign for Real Time, I noticed that 5 pieces of jetsam, which had, in relatively recent times, plopped back into existence, seemed to be corresponding to 5 pieces of the missing key. Only 2 I could trace exactly. The wooden pillar, which appeared on your planet, and the silver bale, which seems to be at some sort of party. We must go there and retrieve it before the cricket robots find it, or who knows what may happen.
I've got a better idea. Let's go there in order to drink a lot and dance with as many girls as possible while there are still some left. If everything you've shown us is true, then we don't stand a whelk's chance in a supernova.
What's a whelk got to do with a supernova?
It doesn't stand a chance in one. The point is that people like you and me, Slarty Bartfast, and Arthur, particularly and especially Arthur, are just dilettantes, eccentrics, layabouts, fart-arounds, if you like. Well, we're not obsessed by anything, you see, and that's the deciding factor. They care, we don't. They win.
I care about a lot of things.
What, such as?
Well, life, the universe, and everything, really. Fjords.
Would you die for them?
Fjords? What would be the point?
The point is this.
For whatever reason, let's just go.
I think that's what I was trying to say.
Follow me. The teleport cubicles are in the gentleman's bathroom.
I'm not sure I find that very reassuring.
Oh, they're very clean. Now, if you just stand in there and there...
In the cubicles?
That's right.
Do you realise that in all this time, I haven't once been to the...
Don't sit down.
There's no paper, anyway.
Well, of course not. It's a teleportation device.
Gentlemen, raise your seats.
We're going to flush the chain on the count of 3. All together now. 1, 2...
3. Oh, I hate teleporting. Ford? Slarty Bartfast? Well, that's just perfect. Well, couldn't have been much of a party. Everybody's left. Hang on. This is a cave. Or is it a labyrinth? Well, at least there'll be a way out. Or an attendant. Or someone who can help. Hello? 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 It's like Alice chasing the white rabbit. No, robot. No. There are no robots here. There are definitely no white robots here. There is, however, a neon sign saying, "You have been diverted." Well, there was. I hope I'm dreaming this. 3 green dots. There's a name for that. Irritating. Oh, and a comma. You have been diverted. Dot, comma. Well, not entertainingly. That's my name. Good grief. Welcome. You have been diverted, Arthur Dent. Welcome. I don't think. Hello? I'm afraid I really am afraid. My heart's so loud it sounds like somebody beating a bass drum in here with me. Somebody is beating a bass drum. Do not be alarmed. Okay, what should I be? Come on, sign. Be very, very frightened, Arthur Dent. Who's that? Is anyone there? Grow up, Arthur. There are no hideous monsters here. If there are, I'll eat my... Ah! What do you want?
Bet you weren't expecting to see me again.
What has Arthur Dent stumbled upon in the recesses of the labyrinth? Has Ford Prefect found a drink and a peer group to share it with? Can Slarty Bartfast stop the cricket robots from acquiring the silver bale? Fasten your acceleration straps. It's going to be a bumpy next installment of The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
In that episode of The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by Douglas Adams, William Franklin was the book. Simon Jones played Arthur Dent, Geoffrey McGivern, Ford Prefect, Mark Wing Davey, Zaphod Beeblebrox, Dominic Hawksley, the Wicked Voice, and Richard Griffiths was Slarty Bartfast. Douglas Adams played Agra Jag, Roger Gregg played Eddie, and Rupert Degas was Judiciary Pag. Mike Fenton Stevens, Philip Pope and Tom Maggs were the population of cricket, and Henry Blofeld and Fred Truman were themselves. The announcer was John Marsh. The surround mix was by Paul Dealey and the live FX by Ken Humphrey. The cricket song was by Philip Pope, the script editor was John Langdon, and the music was by Paul Wicks Wickens. The production assistants were Laura Harris and Joe Wheeler. The programme was adapted, directed and co-produced by Dirk Maggs. The producers were Helen Chatwell and Bruce Hyman, and it was an above-the-title production for BBC Radio 4.
See how the flowers grow. It's such a shame my dog died. He loved those flowers so. It's so much fun working on the farm. It fills my heart and soul with pride. My wife and kids waiting safe from harm makes me feel so warm inside. Our lovely world so lovely, and everything so nice, and everyone so happy beneath the ink black skies.
If you have been affected by or would like to talk to someone about any of the issues featured in that programme, you may like to videophone our sub-ether helpline. Calls charged at galactic rates.
That was Fit the 15th from The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Here's Fit the 16th.
The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by Douglas Adams. Tertiary Phase.
The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy has much to say on the subject of time travel and its part in the unhallowed fate of the Cathedral of Chalism. It has, however, very little to say about the abduction of people by the remote reprogramming of teleportation coordinates to bring them to a Cathedral of Hate. This is because the abductee in question, Arthur Dent, is the only creature, apart from its creator, to witness the cathedral in all its awe-inspiring subterranean horror. But first he must endure the visions in the labyrinth that surrounds it.
Who's that? Is anyone there? Grow up, Arthur. There are no hideous monsters here. If there are, I'll eat my... Ah! What do you want?
Bet you weren't expecting to see me again.
But I've never ever seen a housefly as big as a dog.
Or perhaps you remember me better as the rabbit.
The rabbit? It's only a hologram, Arthur. Keep calm. The rabbit. The rabbit? No, I'm afraid I don't.
Born in darkness, raised in darkness. One morning I poked my head out for the first time into the bright new world and got it split open by what felt like some primitive instrument made of flint.
What?
Made by you, Arthur Dent, and wielded by you. You turned my skin into a bag for keeping interesting stones in. I happen to know that because in my next life I came back as a fly again and you swatted me. Again.
Yes, but...
Only this time you swatted me with the bag you'd made of my previous skin. Arthur Dent, you are not merely a cruel and heartless man, you are also staggeringly tactless.
I don't really...
I see you have lost the bag. Probably got bored with it, did you?
No.
Meet the newt you trod on. That was me, too. As if you didn't know.
No?
The interesting thing about reincarnation is that most people, most spirits, are unaware that it is happening to them.
Look, I
was aware. That is, I became aware. Slowly, gradually. I could hardly help it, could I? When the same thing kept happening over and over and over again. Every life I ever lived, I got killed by Arthur Dent. Any world, any body, any time. I'm just getting settled down. Along comes Arthur Dent. How he kills me.
Look,
hard not to notice. Bit of a memory jogger. Bit of a pointer. Bit of a bloody giveaway.
No, really.
That's funny, my spirit would say to itself as it winged its way back to the netherworld after another fruitless dent-ended venture into the land of the living. That man who just ran over me as I was hopping across the road to my favourite pond looked a little familiar. And gradually I got to piece it together, Dent, you multiple me murderer.
But what I don't understand...
Here's the moment, Dent. Here's the moment when at last I knew!
Huh? No, I'm sorry. I'm sure I've never been in a huge pink wet cave with a vast, slimy creature rolling around over white tombstones. Oh my God. It's the inside of my mouth. And that's an oyster. I'm swallowing an oyster. An oyster that... was... you.
Tell me it was a coincidence, Dent. I dare you to tell me it was a coincidence.
It was a coincidence.
It was not!
It was!
If it was a coincidence, then my name is not Agrajag!
And presumably you would claim that that was your name?
Yes!
Well, I'm afraid it was still a coincidence.
Come in here and say that!
Right, I will! I can assure you that it was a...
The Cathedral of Hate that Arthur now enters is the product of a mind that is not merely twisted but actually sprained, and consequently has no place in a quality family publication such as The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, which is why this addendum concerning Arthur's current location can only be found in pirated editions, opposite banned commercials for Eccentrica Galambit's chat room and virtual sauna.
Come here, Daddy. You look so good.
The chamber has been carved out of the inside of a mountain, and beyond the twisted buttresses, overhead it is utterly black. Where it isn't black, Arthur is inclined to wish that it was, because the colours with which some of the unspeakable details are picked out range from ultraviolet to infrared, taking in liver purple, loathsome lilac, matter yellow, burnt ombre, and gan green on the way. The unspeakable details which these colours pick out are gargoyles, which all look inwards from the walls, from the pillars, from the flying buttresses and choir stalls, towards an immense statue, which we will come to in a moment.
Good grief!
Around the monumental walls are vast engraved stone tablets, in memory of those who've fallen to Arthur Dent. The names of some of these commemorated are underlined with asterisks against them. So, for instance, the name of a cow, which has been slaughtered, and of which Arthur Dent happened to eat a fillet steak, has the plainest engraving. Whereas the name of a fish which Arthur himself caught, cooked, decided he didn't like and left on the side of the plate has a double underlining, 3 sets of asterisks and a bleeding dagger appended, just to make the point. And what is most disturbing to Arthur about it is the very clear implication that all these people and creatures are indeed the same person over and over again. And it's equally clear that this same person is, however unfairly, extremely upset and annoyed. An annoyance which now spans the whole of time and space in its infinite umbrage, and given its fullest expression in the statue at the centre of all this monstrosity. A statue of Arthur Dent.
That's me.
And an unflattering one. 50 feet tall if it's an inch, which it's not, crammed with insult to its subject matter, from the small pimple on the side of his nose to the poorish cut of his dressing gown. There is no aspect of Arthur Dent which isn't lambasted and vilified.
Oh, please.
With each of the 30 arms which the sculptor, in a fit of artistic fervour, has decided to give him, he is either braining a rabbit, swatting a fly, pulling a wishbone, picking a flea from his hair, or doing something which Arthur's first glance cannot quite identify.
Surely not.
His feet, incidentally, are stamping on ants.
Oh, this is trying too hard.
Arthur is depicted as an evil, rapacious, bloodied ogre, slaughtering his way through an innocent one-man universe. And waddling round him, savouring the moment, is the black, razor-toothed creature that he has supposedly been persecuting all this time. It looks for all the galaxy like a mad, fat, scruffy bat.
Stop poking me!
I was at a cricket match.
Looking like that?
Not in this body! Not in this body! This is my last body, my last life! This is my revenge body, my kill Arthur Dent body! My last chance, I had to fight to get it too!
But how could this possibly...
I was at a cricket match! I had a weak heart condition! But what, I said to my wife, can happen to me at a cricket match?
Oh, yes?
As I'm watching, what happens? Two people quite maliciously appear out of thin air just in front of me. The last thing I can't help but notice before my poor heart gives out in shock is that one of them is Arthur Dent, wearing a rabbit bone in his beard. Coincidence?
Yes!
Coincidence!
Look, it's just fate playing silly buggers with you, with me, with us. It's a complete coincidence.
What have you got against me, Dent?
Nothing, honestly, nothing.
Seems a strange way to relate to somebody you've got nothing against, killing them all the time. Very curious piece of social interaction, I would call that. I would also call it a lie.
Look, I'm very sorry. There's been a terrible misunderstanding. Now, I've really got to go. I'm meant to be helping save the universe.
At one point, I decided to give up. Yes, I would not come back. I would stay in the netherworld. And what happened?
I don't know.
I got yanked involuntarily back into the physical world as a bunch of petunias in, I might add, a bowl.
Oh, dear.
This particular happy little lifetime started off with me in my bowl, unsupported, 300 miles above the surface of a particularly grim planet. Not a naturally tenable position for a bowl of petunias, you might think. And you'd be right. That life ended a very short while later, 300 miles lower, in, I might again add, the fresh wreckage of a whale, my spirit brother.
Well...
On the way down, I couldn't help noticing a flashy-looking white spaceship. And looking out of a port on this flashy-looking spaceship was a smug-looking Arthur Dent. Coincidence?
Goodbye.
You may go, after I have killed you.
No, that won't be any use, because I have to save the universe, you see. I have to find a silver bale, that's the point. Tricky thing to do, dead.
Save the universe? You should have thought of that before you started your vendetta against me. What about the time when you were on Stavromula Beta and someone tried to assassinate you and you ducked? Who do you think that bullet hit?
I've never been there.
What did you say?
Never been there. What are you talking about?
You must have been there. You were responsible for my death there as everywhere else. An innocent bystander.
I've never heard of the place. I've certainly never had anyone try to assassinate me, other than you. Perhaps I go there later, do you think?
You haven't been to Stavromula Beta yet?
No. I don't know anything about the place. Certainly never been to it and don't have any plans to go.
Oh, you go there all right. You go there all right. Oh, Zark. I brought you here too soon! I brought you here too zarking soon!
Well, that's a dreadful bore for you, of course, but there it is.
I'm going to kill you anyway! Even if it's a logical impossibility, I'm going to zarking well try! I'm going to blow this whole mountain up!
Leave that switch alone!
Let's see you get out of this one, Dent!
If that does what I think it does, you'll be bringing about your own death this time. Don't do it!
I'm going to kill you!
No, you're not! Oh, you shouldn't have tried to bite me. Gosh, those teeth are sharp. You've made a real mess of yourself.
You know what you've done? You've gone and killed me again! I mean, what do you want from me? Blood?
I'm sorry! No! Not the switch! What to do now? Run! But where? Anywhere! Daylight! Daylight this way! Oh, great! An avalanche! Whoa! But logically, I'm bound to survive this, if only to pursue my alleged persecution of Agrajag on Stavromila Beta. But if this isn't it, why am I still panicking? Why am I still risking my life? And why? Lying in front of me is a small navy blue holdall that I know for a fact I lost in the baggage retrieval system at Athens Airport 10 years ago. Oh, I'm falling! Upwards? No, I'm flying!
The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy has this to say on the subject of flying. There is an art, it says, or rather a knack to flying. The knack lies in learning how to throw yourself at the ground and miss. Pick a nice day, it suggests, and try it. The first part is easy. All it requires is simply the ability to throw yourself forward with all your weight and the willingness not to mind that it's going to hurt. That is, it's going to hurt if you fail to miss the ground. Most people fail to miss the ground, and if they're really trying properly, the likelihood is that they will fail to miss it fairly hard. Clearly, it's the second point, the missing, which presents the difficulties. One problem is that you have to miss the ground accidentally. It's no good deliberately intending to miss the ground because you won't. You have to have your attention suddenly distracted by something else when you're halfway there, so that you're no longer thinking about falling, or about the ground, or about how much it's going to hurt if you fail to miss it. It is notoriously difficult to prise your attention away from these three things during the split second you have at your disposal. Hence most people's failure, and their eventual disillusionment with this exhilarating and spectacular sport. Do not listen to what anybody says to you at this point, because they're unlikely to say anything helpful. They're most likely to say something along the lines of, "Good God, you can't possibly be flying." It is vitally important not to believe them, or they will suddenly be right. If, however, you're lucky enough to have your attention momentarily distracted at the crucial moment by, say, a gorgeous pair of legs, tentacles, pseudopodia according to film, and or personal inclination, you will miss the ground completely. Try a few swoops, gentle ones at first, then drift above the treetops, breathing regularly. Do not wave at anybody. When you've done this a few times, you'll find the moment of distraction rapidly becomes easier and easier to achieve. In the case of Arthur Dent, his instincts have correctly told him that he mustn't think about it, or the law of gravity will suddenly glance sharply in his direction and demand to know what the hell he thinks he's doing up here.
Tulips. I'll think about tulips. This is great! No, tulips. Nice tulips. The pleasing, firm roundness of the bottom of tulips. The interesting variety of colours they come in. Oh, I'm bored. Oh, mustn't be bored. That way groundness lies. Stay distracted. Stay flying. I'm flying. Oh, no, distract yourself. The bag. The bag, that's the point. How could a hold all I left at Athens Airport end up here? Who cares? I'm flying. Concentrate, Arthur. Whoa. I mean, don't concentrate. Okay. Let's use this fall and turn it into a swoop. And I should be able to grab it. Oh, gosh. I haven't seen that since I gave it to the pretty stewardess with a nice... No, too distracted. Look, Arthur. You're 200 feet above the ground. Better. Okay, think of the bag. If it's still in the state in which I lost it, it'll contain a can which would have in it the only Greek olive oil still surviving in the universe. If I can just... Yes, got it! Not only a can of Greek olive oil, but the cricket ball I caught at Lord's. Very odd. What else? A duty-free allowance of Retsina. Some interesting stones. And joy of joys, my towel! Oh, if only Ford could see me now!
Arthur, look out! You're gonna crash into the party!
Ford? What?
When Arthur Dent, Ford Prefect, and Slarty Bartfast arrived, the longest and most destructive party ever held was into its 4th generation, and still no one showed any sign of leaving. The mess was extraordinary, and had to be seen to be believed. There had recently been some bangs and flashes up in the clouds, and there is one theory that these were battles being fought between the fleets of several rival carpet cleaning companies, who were hovering over the thing like vultures. But you shouldn't believe anything you hear at parties, and particularly not anything you hear at this one. One of the problems, and one which would obviously get worse, was that all the people at the party were either the children, or the grandchildren, or the great-grandchildren of the people who wouldn't leave in the first place. And because of all the business about selective breeding and regressive genes and so on, it meant that all the people currently at the party were either absolutely fanatical partygoers or gibbering idiots, or, more and more frequently, both. Either way, it meant that genetically speaking, each succeeding generation was now less likely to leave than the preceding one. Now, because of certain things that had happened which seemed like a good idea at the time, and one of the problems with a party which never stops is that all the things which only seem like a good idea at parties continue to seem like good ideas. One of the things which seemed like a really good idea at the time was that the party should fly, literally. One night long ago, a band of drunken astro-engineers clambered around the building calibrating this, fixing that, banging very hard on the other, and when the sun rose the following morning, it was startled to find itself shining on a building full of happy, drunken people, which was floating like a young and uncertain bird over the treetops. The flying party had also managed to arm itself rather heavily. If they were going to get involved in any petty arguments with wine merchants, they wanted to make sure they had might on their side.
All right, do as we say and nobody gets hurt.
What do you people want?
Hand over all your cheese footballs. And those little savoury twig things, the ones with the tasty brown paint on.
But we are simple farmers.
Shut up and get stacking.
And we want the cakes. Fairy cakes.
Better give us 50 cases of Cabernet Sauvignon as well.
Cabernet? But we only drink milk.
Don't give me that.
All right. What vintage?
They looted, they raided, they held whole cities for ransom for fresh supplies of cheese crackers, avocado dip, and wine and spirits. But the planet over which they were floating was no longer the planet it had been when they started. It was in bad shape and had been since long before Agrajag destroyed its only respectable mountain in the vain attempt to kill Arthur Dent. But it was one hell of a party. It was also one hell of a thing to get hit by in the small of the back, as Arthur Dent has just discovered.
Ford, where the fetid photon have you been?
Is this Slarty Bartfast's party?
Hold tight, Earthman. There's only a very thin walkway around the building.
Everywhere I touch, it hurts.
Then don't touch it. You've sprained your wrist.
What are you doing out here?
They won't let us in without a bottle.
There, I think I can help you.
Got a bottle?
Retsina.
Never heard of it. In you come.
Thank you so kind.
Right, now we're in, we can...
Your bottle! What is it?
Retsina, an earth drink. Very rare now. Hey!
A new pleasure.
That's mine!
I warned you. Never trust a pterodactyl in Murex.
No, you didn't.
Oh, I forgot.
Good grief! It's Trillium!
Yeah, and that's Thor, the thunder god, with her. Blimey, half of Asgard have turned up. I wonder if Seyford's here. I'll go and look over by the drinks.
Trillian, how the hell did you get here?
Didn't I see you at Milky Ways?
Were you the one with the hammer?
Yes, I much prefer it here. So much less reputable, so much more fraught.
Well, it seems fun.
Trillian!
Oh, what are you trying to say, Arthur?
I said, how the hell did you get here?
Oh, I was a row of dots floating randomly through the universe. Oh, have you met Thor? He's in thunder.
Hello.
Hey,
I expect that must be very interesting.
it is. Have you got a drink?
No, actually.
Then why don't you go and get one?
See you later, Arthur.
Zaphod isn't here, is he?
See you later.
One of the interesting things about being immortal is you don't...
One of the interesting things about space is how dull it is.
Slarty Bart fast.
Dull? Really?
Staggeringly dull. Bewilderingly so. You see, there is so much of space and so little in it. Would you like me to quote you some statistics?
What do you think?
They, too, are quite sensationally dull.
Well, you must tell me all about it when I'm interested. Excuse me.
Slarty Bart fast.
I thought you'd never go.
Drink?
Come, Earthman.
But I'm in the drinks queue.
No! We have to find the silver bale. It is here somewhere.
Oh, can't we relax a little? I've had a tough day. Trillian's being chatted up by a thunder god who was very rude to me. I'd consider thumping him if the muscles in his upper arm didn't move around each other like a couple of Volkswagens parking.
Think of the danger to the universe.
The universe is big enough and old enough to look after itself for half an hour.
Please.
All right. I'll circulate and see if anybody's seen it.
Good, good. I'll do this side of the party. You do that.
Ah, hello. Hello there.
Hello!
Have you seen a bale anywhere? Made of silver, vitally important for the future safety of the universe and about this long.
No, but come and have a drink and tell me all about it.
You're a great little dancer.
Thank you.
Like that hat.
I'm not wearing a hat.
Oh, right. Like the head.
What?
Ow, the head. Interesting bone structure.
What? Ow.
Ever heard of the Sydney Opera House?
What?
I said, look, could you not nod so much?
What?
You keep pecking me on the head. Ow!
My planet was blown up one morning. That's why I'm dressed like this, in my dressing gown. My planet was blown up with all my clothes in it, you see.
Oh, dear.
I didn't realise I'd be coming to a party.
Wow, right, yeah.
Later, I was thrown off a spaceship, still in my dressing gown.
Oh.
Rather than the spacesuit one would normally expect.
Why, yes.
Well, shortly after that, I discovered my planet had originally been built for a bunch of mice.
Mice?
So you can imagine how I felt about that.
Extraordinary.
I was then shot at for a while and blown up.
Oh, really?
In fact, I have been blown up ridiculously often. Shot at, insulted, regularly disintegrated, deprived of tea, and recently I crashed into a swamp and had to spend 5 years in a damp cave.
Uh-huh. And did you have a wonderful time? What an exciting life you must lead. I must find someone to tell about it.
But, oh, never mind.
Hey, did I hear you say your name just now?
Yes, it's Arthur Dent.
Yeah, only there's a man in a mountain wanted to see you. Well, more of a 4-foot fruit bat with an orthodontic condition.
I met him.
Yeah, only he seemed pretty anxious about it, you know.
I know, I met him.
Yeah, well, I think you should know that, yeah?
I do. I met him.
Okay, all right, I'm just telling you, right? Good night, good luck, win awards.
What?
Oh, whatever, do what you do. Who cares? Why not go mad? Oh, get off my back, will you, guy? Just sark off.
Keep your hairpiece on, I'm going.
Yeah, right. It's been real. Big ups, eh? Huh?
What was that about?
Him?
Yes. Did you hear that?
Of course.
Why did he tell me to win awards?
Showbiz talk. He's just won an award at the annual Ursa Minor Alpha Recreational Illusions Institute awards ceremony, and he was hoping to be able to pass it off lightly. Only you didn't mention it, so he couldn't.
What was it for?
The most gratuitous use of the word fuck in a serious screenplay. It's very prestigious.
Oh. And what award do you get for that?
A Rory, little silver thing set in a large black base. What did you say?
I didn't say anything. I was just about to ask.
I thought you said whop. Did you say whop?
What?
No, whop.
People had been dropping in on the party for years, fashionable gatecrashers from other worlds, And for some time it occurred to the partygoers, as they looked out at their own world beneath them with its wrecked cities, its ravaged avocado farms and blighted vineyards, its vast tracts of new desert, its seas full of biscuit crumbs and worse, that their world was, in some tiny and almost imperceptible ways, not quite as much fun as it had been. Then, one day, as the party came screaming out of the clouds and the farmers looked up in haggard fear of yet another cheese and wine raid, it suddenly became clear that the party would soon be over. Very soon it would be time to gather up hats and coats and stagger blearily outside to find out what time of day it was. The party was locked in a horrible embrace with a strange white spaceship, which appeared to be half sticking through it. Together they lurched, heaving and spinning their way round the sky, in grotesque disregard of their own weight. Then suddenly, the cricket ship was gone. The party was now a mortally wounded party. All the fun had gone out of it, and the longer that it avoided the ground, the heavier was going to be the crash when finally it hit it.
Arthur, what happened?
The cricket robots. They've come and gone and taken it.
Taken what?
The award for the most gratuitous use of the word fuck in a serious screenplay.
I'm sorry.
The silver bale. It was the award. I feel almost as sick as a runner-up for a Rory.
Dingo's kidneys. I need another drink.
I'm not sure you've got time.
Fair enough. We would love to stay and help, only we're not going to. We have to go and save the universe, you see, and if that sounds like a pretty lame excuse, then you may be right. Either way, we're off. Slip me that unopened bottle and the packet of crisps.
Where's Trillian?
Earthman, we must go!
Trillian!
I'm over here, Arthur.
The girl stays with me. We're flying on to a great party going on in Valhalla.
Where were you when all this was going on?
Upstairs, I was weighing her. Tricky business flying. You have to calculate the...
Whoa! She comes with us.
Hey, don't I have a say?
You come with us.
She comes with me.
Earthman, I have the teleport device ready. We really must leave.
Arthur, cool it with the Viking.
Want to make something of it?
I beg your minuscule pardon.
I said, do you want to make something of it?
Arthur?
Arthur, he's got a hammer the size of a telegraph pole.
This is madness, Earthman.
Do I want to make something of it?
Yes. So you want to step outside?
All right. Follow me.
That's got rid of him. Slarty, get us out of here.
All right, so I'm a coward. The point is, I'm still alive.
So am I, aren't I?
You damn nearly weren't.
Don't you understand anything?
Later. While you two are bickering, the cricket robots have got the silver bale. If they've already got the gold bale and 3 pillars, they hold the key to the wicket gate.
I'm sure I had some crisps.
I'm afraid we fared rather pathetically at the party.
Story of my life. Where's Trillian?
More important than that, where's my crisps?
They are both in the room of informational illusions. Your young lady friend is trying to understand how these problems arose. The potato crisps, I can only assume, are helping her. Our only hope now is to try to prevent the cricket robots from using the key in the lock. How in heaven we do that, I don't know. Just have to go there, I suppose. Can't say I like the idea at all. Probably end up dead.
As the starship Beastramath alters course with the turn of a side salad and half bottle of Chianti, what has become of Zaphod Beeblebrox? And Marvin the paranoid android? Will the cricket robots assemble and use the key to the wicket gate? And with everything to play for, will there be time for the next installment of The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy?
In that episode of The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by Douglas Adams, William Franklin was the book. Simon Jones played Arthur Dent, Geoffrey McGivern, Ford Prefect, Susan Sheridan, Trillian, Dominic Hawksley, Thor the Thunder God, and Richard Griffiths was Slarty Bartfast. Douglas Adams played Agra Jag, Bob Golding, the award winner, and Joanna Lumley was the woman with the Sydney Opera House head. The announcer was John Marsh. The surround mix was by Paul Dealey, and the live FX by Ken Humphrey. The script editor was John Langdon, and the music was by Paul Wicks-Wickens. The production assistants were Laura Harris and Joe Wheeler. The programme was adapted, directed and co-produced by Dirk Maggs. The producers were Helen Chatwell and Bruce Hyman, and it was an above-the-title production for BBC Radio 4. The sound of 100,000 people saying "wop" is the registered trademark of the Cricket Cola Corporation.
That was Fit the 16th from the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Well, that's it for this hour. Next hour, we will be presenting the final 2 episodes of the Tertiary Phase series of airchecks. Stay tuned.